Okay, got a product here. I do use a lot of SPG. That's I guess it's pronounced sopoger. Here's right here. Today we have their arrow saw. On Amazon is 86 bucks, and with a 1-star rating. I'll kind of go over all this and try to cut some arrows for you, show you what it's all about. So I just opened the box and we got a couple pieces in here. Here's the bigger piece, this really tiny motor on there, and then this bar goes to 0 to 6 inches on one side, and on the other side goes all the way to 31 inches. Let's see if I can get this. There we go. So this bar is 31 inches long. Okay. Comes with some other accessories. Let me flip over here. Comes with some cutoff wheels. Just looks like regular fiber cutoff wheels. Looks like the Dremels could replace those if you run out of those. Here is a really small power supply. It's outputs 15 volt at 2 amps. So I'm not having too high hopes of this motor. And then this regular, these are the clamps that are going to hold your arrow and go over the motor area here. So let me put all this together, and we'll see if we can't cut some arrows real quick here. Okay, we got it hooked up. We're gonna, the on-off switch is here on the other side that you can't see. I have an old arrow, broken arrow that I'm going to use to test. I'll kind of go over the setup as I cut this. I just want to do this video first. So adjust this back end a little closer. Okay, so I've got the arrow in there. It seems very wobbly. Yeah, it's kind of wobbly here. Kind of scary too. Okay, well, I'm going to stick the arrow in its groove up here. And I think what's supposed to happen is you press it towards the blade and you just spin the arrow until it's fully cut. So let's give it a shot. Looks like it cut it. Let's try another one. Okay, it's working better than I thought it would. Let's go back to the other camera. Okay, let's talk about this. So what camera am I on here? Okay. So there's this piece that slides back and forth. That is what adjusts your arrow to the length you're looking for. The length is over here. I haven't done the actual measurement from 0 to whatever. Sure, it's close, but we can get into that too. So you adjust your stop to whatever length you're looking for. There's 28, 29, 30, and 31's at the very end. If you have arrows that long, then it might work. So I guess what you're supposed to do is, let me switch to the other camera here. You put the arrow in this stop. The arrow comes over here to this thing, little cradle. You stick the arrow in there and you push it against this cutoff wheel, and then you spin the arrow so it can cut it. So you stick in your arrow inside this stop, and then it's going to come up here to this wheel, and then you're going to start the motor. You're going to press it over, and then you're just going to kind of twist it. And as you're twisting it, it cuts the arrow. And this thing's adjustable. This cradle, you can move it closer or further away depending on how fat your arrows are. The instructions down here say that this blade should protrude into this cradle as thick as your wall is. So if you have a real thin wall like this one, this thing doesn't need to come inside too much. But I don't think it really matters, as long as it's not the entire thickness of the arrow. At least half is probably okay. But you can see that's about half. And it looked okay. So I don't know, I did a test cut on this particular arrow about 3 or 4 times off camera, and then what you saw on camera. And I mean, it looks okay. I have to do about 24 arrows, and I need to make 24 cuts. So this will kind of put this thing to the test. I'll share an update after I cut all 24 of them. And what I'm afraid of is this motor's not going to be very strong after a while, and as you're pushing the arrow against this cutoff wheel, that this thing's just going to stop. But we'll see. Maybe it's better than that. So it does have these little foam pads on the bottom, but as you saw when it was on the table, it was wobbly this way. But I guess that's just the way it is. And another thing that's kind of weird is the input for the power is right here, which is kind of in line with the whole business aspect of this machine. Maybe they should have stuck it in the back, or I don't know, but it's okay, I guess. So we're going to cut a few arrows, and then I'll give you my review and my thoughts on how everything went. But this is the SPG arrow cutter. I got mine from Consistent Carbon Arrows from Michael Yu, but it looks like there's some here on Amazon, which is a lot more expensive than what I actually paid for it. And that's what the box looks like. So you can go ahead and check these out. Here's a 1-star rating. Only one person rated it, but I'm doing a video on it, and I'll see if, from a real world perspective, see if it's any good. Alright, let's cut some arrows. Okay, so this whole time I noticed there was a square around my face, following my face around. So yeah, I noticed it a little too late though. I'm not going to redo this whole video. But anyway, let's go to here. So far I cut, it's a dozen, and you can see where I started the cut. It's got that kind of little gap right there. So once I use super glue, this stuff, to glue in my tips or inserts, but in this case they're going to be just glue in tips. So once I push the glue in, or the tip with the glue in it, the little bit of overflow that comes out here, well, I guess will hopefully seal up some of these imperfections, I suppose is what it could be called. Let's see. Like, well, they're not too bad actually. They're all right. Anyway, it did make quick work of these. I just kept the saw on and just stuck one in and buzzed it out. Oh, so another thing I wanted to mention is, let me grab the saw. Okay, so this adjustment here moves this cradle closer or further away from that cutoff wheel. The instructions did say to make that cutoff wheel come out just the exact thickness of the wall of the arrow, so which is not very thick at all on most arrows, and that's true. Mine was out halfway, as I showed you before. This cutoff wheel was exactly half of my arrow, and after I did a few arrows, I started getting a little, I guess, kind of cocky with it and started just doing them real quick, jamming them into the thing, and the motor did kind of stall a little bit because I guess I just put too much pressure on there. So I adjusted this so that only just, I think it was maybe 1/8 or so, this blade protruding into this cradle. So, and that was just right around the thickness of these walls, and that kind of got rid of that. So follow the instructions when it says to do that. Whatever the thickness is of your wall, that's how much blade should be sticking into this cradle. And another thing I wanted to mention is when you stick an arrow in here, these are 28 inches. So when I stick it all the way back there onto that stop, well, you can't see it, but the first couple times I did it, when I stuck it in there, the arrow, you know, it's long, so it's bouncy. This is bouncing up and down. So when you stick it in there and get ready to push it forward, try not to rest your hand on this arrow, because it's going to make this cut uneven. So just kind of stick the arrow in there without pushing down too hard as you slowly press this thing over into the wheel and just spin it, and that should alleviate any dips or whatever that you're doing while you're pushing this arrow. See how much flex it's got? So try not to flex it down by putting the weight of your hand on there or something. Just kind of hold it there and spin it around. You should be okay. But I figured out that the motor would stall after the first couple arrows I tried. Once I adjusted that blade depth and I just gently pressed the arrow into the cutting wheel and spun it, there was no more stalling. The motor did stay on the whole time while I was doing all 12 of these shafts. I didn't smell anything weird. Everything acted normal. But again, this is the first 12 arrows. I got another 12 to go. These are the skinny guys. I think these are 4 mil. I got a couple fatties I want to cut, and these are just this kind of standard, I don't know what these are, like 7 or 6.5 or something, kind of the standard hunting size. And that was the first arrow we did in the video. These are the skinny ones. I think they're 4 mil. And then we got some fatties that I haven't done yet, but I'll end up doing some this week. And if there's anything way out of the ordinary, I'll revise this video and let everybody know. Hold on. And there we go. And no more square around my face. So this is the SPG arrow cutter. I guess if you just Google that, you could find lots of places that sell it. I get mine from Consistent Carbon Arrows online, from a person, Michael Yu. You can speak to him about that. He'll have that to your door in about a week, along with some really nice arrows. These are all the arrows me and my family shoot, actually, we got from his company, and they're just great. They're very affordable, and we have all, at least me and my 3 kids, have all won something, first, second, or third, using these arrows. So try them out. Consistent Carbon Arrow. And my name is Travis. I'm with the Archery Lab here in Peoria, Arizona. You can follow us on Facebook, Archery Lab AZ, and that's where we'll be. So we hope you like this video. and it was informative. If you have any questions, just give me a call or a message on here on YouTube. Whoops, and we'll see if we can answer them. Thanks. Goodbye.